Hello, my fellow nerds. Today is actually Saturday. I know I normally get a podcast out on Friday, but I just was not feeling good enough yesterday. I'll get a little bit more into that later. If you are new to my podcast, hello. How are you? Thank you for being here. If you are one of my frequent listeners, thank you so much for continuing to listen to me. I love you guys so much. I really do. I really wish I could bring you in and give you a big old hug. I tell people this is a tiny podcast with a big heart. I don't have an intro, so I'm just going to tell you. This is the Nerd in Texas podcast, where I am literally a nerd in Texas. Anyways, I'll answer a question that I got asked at the end of the podcast, so if you guys want to hear a little Q&A at the end, stick around to the end. But anyways, so this is the Nerd in Texas podcast. It's about movies, TV shows, books, video games, and anything you might consider nerdy. My name is Chanel. I am your host. I am your hostess with the mostest. So, update on my Bells Palsy. This is kind of the reason why I didn't have one yesterday. Just my symptoms were crazy yesterday. And I just wasn't feeling, I don't know. It's so hard to explain with this Bells Palsy thing. Some people, I tell them it's having the flu on one side of your body. Or on one side of your face. But I'm not going to get into too much symptom details, but you know what I mean. But I do have things that are feeling better. I feel like I can talk a little bit better sometimes. Before I go through my podcast, I kind of run through things, and I felt like I was doing fine then, but now, I don't know, my face just feels funny. I do have feeling back in one side of my tongue that I didn't have feeling, and I can taste things now, but everything tastes funny. I don't know if that that probably doesn't. I don't know if that's a thing that's supposed to happen when you have Bell's palsy, but yes, everything tastes funny. I still have to stop myself. Uh-oh. I broke a rule. I don't know if you guys heard that or not. That was my stomach growling. I don't know if you heard that either. Anyways, so I can now feel I still have to worry about drooling on that side of my face. This is so terrible. This is so horrible. But anyways, I can now feel a muscle pull in my face that wasn't pulling before. And when I smile, I can feel it a tiny bit. But it's, it's not quite there, but it's getting there. I think when I blink my eye, it goes about 50% now. Sometimes I'll run up to Bailey and be like, did I blink? Or I'll be like, look at my smile, is it getting better? And when she starts laughing, I know nothing's changed. So that's my meter on it. If I'm looking or feeling better, is I run up to Bailey, can I smile now? Or does it look like it's changed? And then she just starts laughing, and I'm like, okay, well then that means nothing's changed. So this episode is about the Winter Falcon, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm so sorry. Another brief side note. Normally, when I first start my podcast, I'll, put my headphones on and just listen. Listen to background noises, anything that I gotta fix. I shut off the fan, I close the windows. I close my bedroom door because my bedroom is connected to the living room, and I have a fish tank in the living room, and it is so loud. So I have to close my bedroom door, and I swear, one of these times I'm going to be sitting here listening, and I'm going to be able to, hear a ghost talk or something, and it's going to freak me out. I just know one of these days it's going to happen. So, let's get back to what my episode is about, and that is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 2. So in the first episode, it starts with the new Captain America walking out, and you don't know exactly who he is. You're like, oh, this guy's an imposter, kind of looks like a little weasel. Like you're mad because he has, Steve Rogers' shield, and you're like, that's not your shield, bro. Go put it back in the museum where Sam Wilson put it. Like, come on, dude. So when you see this Captain America, you don't really know who he is. And in the second episode, it starts off with this guy, like, sitting in a locker room of a high school. He obviously played football. And he's just, like, sitting there quietly. Some, girl walks in, kind of gives him a pep talk. And then you realize, like, oh, he's Captain America. He's the new Captain America. And then they do this weird, like, pinky promise kissy thing. Like, if that's your boyfriend, that's, like, a weird way to kiss him goodbye. But, okay, sure. But if they're, like, brother and sister, that's still kind of weird. But anyways, he's just this, like, nervous U.S. Army soldier sitting in the football locker room. And, he, like I said, he has his friends come in one by one, giving him a pep talk about how he's going to be a good Captain America. One of the things that I kind of wonder is, like, do you think Chris Evans, the person who played Captain America, had a say in who was going to be the next, like, who was going to play the next Captain? Like, do you think he was there during the casting? And, like, I know he's not the writer and the creator of Captain America, but I don't know. It's just something I always wondered. Like, do you think he got to have a say in anything? Or am I totally, like, or do you think he's watching it? Like, do you think he's watching it and is like, ugh, this is stupid? Just kidding. Or I'm sure he doesn't think it's stupid, or am I totally just overthinking this like an idiot and it's just like a weird question? So we later on discover that, the new Captain America is John Walker. And in this episode, it shows that he has high honors and 3, Purple Hearts, stuff like that. Bucky Barnes is not happy about it at all. Bucky Barnes is mad at the Falcon / Sam Wilson. Bucky Barnes and the Falcon, like, you can tell that it's through the preview and everything from this show that they're just going to butt heads. It's going to be like a Tango and Cash type deal, but I love Tango and Cash, by the way. I watched them, like, I love that movie. It's such an awesome movie. So, who is John Walker in the comics? So, in the comics, the character of John Walker was first introduced as a supervillain, super patriot, in Captain America issue 323. That's so funny, 323. It's kind of like, I don't know. 323, 323, I don't say whatever you want to say, I don't know. And they created Walker to counter Captain America of patriotism. So basically, they took Captain America and they're like, do you know what? We want someone who's like the complete opposite of Cap. Like, complete opposite of Captain America. And one of the creators said, like, Cap is old now, so we want this guy to be like a real young and up-and-comer, like a real young whippersnapper, and has lofty ideals. So they'll make Super Patriot be more realistic and more pragmatic. And so, is he going to end up being a villain in this show? Question mark, question mark. But later on in the comics, fans kind of wanted Captain America to be more Wolverine-like and more Punisher-like. And so the creator of Captain America kind of like, I mean, that's against Captain America's ideals, his morals. He's not that. That's what makes Captain America and separates him from all these other, Wolverine and Punisher. Because, like, if you have everyone be like the same thing, I don't know. I agree with the original Cap. I don't know why fans would be like, make him like Punisher or Wolverine like. So they considered it. They considered, okay, fine, let's do this. But the thing is if we do this, Captain America cannot be Steve Rogers. Because Steve Rogers was like this little urban boy who was tiny and then took the serum and became Captain America. Sorry about the plane flying above my house. So there's like, I live in the hill country, so there's all these hills, and over one of these hills, there's a private airport where, like, these rich people fly their planes back and forth, and I even have, like, one house that's on top of the hill, and that dude has, like, a hangar, and he has his own helicopter, and sometimes he, like, flies over our house and lands his helicopter and goes to his huge mansion, and it's crazy. It's cool, though. It's crazy, but it's cool. But anyways, so they're like, we can't, if that's how the direction we were going to go with a Captain America, then we can't make Steve Rogers that character. So we'll have to just not redo the character, but get a different character, get more, in, like, it would just be, like, from readers stating that they didn't want Steve Rogers ever to return, as they saw Walker, regardless of his faults, or more. I don't know what the readers were thinking. Like, keep Captain America. But it happened. Okay, so now we have John Walker, who's gonna be more like the Punisher and stuff like that. Is he gonna be like that in this show? We'll find out. I really wish they will bring... Well, I saw an article. I need to find it and talk about it. Because I love The Punisher on Netflix. The Netflix series The Punisher with John Bernthal. Oh, God, it's so good. I love him. And I hope they bring him back. I hope they figure out some way to have, like, that. But we'll see. So, Bucky is pretty much aggravated with Falcon, with Sam Wilson, and decides, like, you know, you're the one who should have been Captain America. Steve gave this shield to you, and now it's your fault that some imposter has the shield and is now Captain America. And he's just mad. He's aggravated, and they kind of have an argument, and then so Sam's like, yeah, well, I got stuff to do. And so he's like, well, then I'm coming with you. And so they go to investigate the Flag Smashers. And you discover that not investigate, but they're going to go and find them. And they discovered that the Flag Smashers have super strength. They are super soldiers. And they are smuggling stuff. They're going to steal all this stuff in these big 18-wheeler trucks. And they eventually discovered that there's medicine and stuff in it. And my first impression was like, okay, the Flag Smashers are trying to create their own little, like, community, their own compound, or whatever you want to call it. Because they liked it during the blip. So I thought, okay, then they're probably going to try and make their own version of a blip somewhere. Yeah. And it turns out that they're actually stealing this stuff to give to people who need it. Being like, they get on this big truck. I'm sorry, I'm gonna try and edit out that pause earlier. I have to take pauses because of my mouth. But anyways, so they get on the truck. They think there's a hostage on the truck, but then it ended up being like a super soldier, and she ends up like pretty much kicking Falcon's ass. And so there's a whole huge fight scene right when you think all is lost and everybody's... The best part is, like, they're on top of the truck and everyone hates the Falcon's little drone dude. I forgot what he calls it. It's the little drone dude. And the bad guys are, like, holding Bucky down, and this one chick, she puts on her little Flag Smasher's mask, and she takes the little drone dude and she, like, breaks it over his knee, and Bucky's like, oh, I've always wanted to do that. And so they're like, so he's being held down, and Falcon is kind of like not winning this either, and all of a sudden the new Captain America shows up, and he starts like throwing the shield and fighting them too, and sorry I hit the thing. And then you kind of like realize that like, yeah, he can like kick ass, but he can't take hits like Captain America can. Like, he gets knocked down and gets backed up, but like he just gets hurt, like he gets hurt. Like Captain America had the serum or whatever, and yeah, it might hurt for a minute, but like, I don't know. He seems like a good dude, but I just still don't like him. I still don't like him. I want Steve Rogers back. So you discover that the Flag Smashers, like, people start calling, like I said, the Robin Hood. People start calling them the Robin Hood because they are supporting all these refugees or supporting all these people. And people are, like, taking them in and hiding them. And what's crazy to me is you have these Flag Smashers and you find out that the leader is, like, a young girl. I guess I just didn't see that coming. Like, a young girl being the leader of the Flag Smashers. So the Flag Smashers was in the comics just they were two fictional supervillains appearing in the comics, and so now in the show they kind of created them as a group. And the two supervillains of the Flag Smasher was most often a villain for Captain America, but they were also villains for Punisher, Moon Knight, Ghost Rider, Runaways, and Deadpool. They created the Flag Smasher in character in the tradition of the Red Skull, which the Red Skull kind of symbolized Nazism, sorry, I can't say that. Can't say that word. But Flag Smashers, they symbolize anti-patriotism, and They first appeared in Captain America issue 312 back in 1985. I wasn't even born yet. But I do my research. Like, I'm that weird person who kind of has to have the, like, backstory to everything. Like, I find it, like, it drives me insane when I watch something or whatever and it just, like, there's a character that I absolutely, like, love. Usually sometimes it's a side character, and I wish I knew their backstory, and they didn't have one, and it's kind of like my OCD, like, how do I find it? Like, it really bothers me. It really does. I know that's so weird, but I like backstories on people. It's crazy. And then I even get on Twitter, and I'm like, hey, we need a backstory for this character. No one ever sees it. It never works. But, hey, I try, right? So the leader in the Flag Smashers in the show is a female version of Carl. I cannot say this word. Morgan something. And she's incarnated and renamed Carly Morgenthau, who is played by Erin Kellyman. I think that's like a weird way to do this, but we'll see how it works. In this episode, Bucky Barnes also introduced the Falcon to an elderly man. His name's Isaiah. He was another super soldier when Bucky Barnes served back. I think he said something about the Korean War, and you discover that they kind of fought and hustled and tussled, and that's how Bucky Barnes lost his arm, was because this dude was a super soldier as well. And like I said, he's an elderly man, he's a veteran, he's kind of hiding out, and you discover he's a super soldier, and then you discover that he went through all kinds of terrible things, and they stuck him in prison instead of, because they didn't want him to go back to civilian life, and he's a super soldier, and they ran all kinds of experiments on him. He said something about being in jail for 30 years, and he just did not want to have anything to do with them, and was just mad and angry. And then Sam says something like, why didn't you tell me? Did Steve Rogers know? Did you tell Steve? And he was like, no, I didn't tell Steve because I felt like Isaiah has been through enough already. And it's true. I mean, the reason why they went there was, I think, because they were trying to figure out how to take down a super soldier, because apparently he knows how. And then during this part, they kind of get in an argument in the street where they're at, and Bucky ends up going to jail because he missed out on a therapy session. And so, of course, Captain America comes in at the fake captain, the imposter Captain America comes in at the police station and demands them to release Bucky, and tells the therapist he no longer has to do that, and under his command, and all kinds of craziness. And Bucky and the Falcon end up having a therapy session, and it does not work out well at all. And you find out that Bucky is mad at Sam for turning down the shield because he thinks, Steve made the wrong decision or a bad decision about choosing Sam, about choosing the Falcon. And so he's like, if he was wrong about you, then that means he's wrong about me. And I guess Bucky's just struggling really hard with, being a normal guy, not being an assassin, like being his own person and not what Hydra made him to be. And so they decide that they need to take down these super soldiers, and they need Hydra to do it. And they are going to a prison, and they're going to talk to one of the head honcho Hydra guys and to figure out how to do that. And yeah, that's the episode. It just ends. And we find out next week, I guess, what Hydra has to say and all that fun stuff. So if you have any questions about the episode or about anything else for that matter, just send them to me, man. Send them to my email is acting funky, but I'm trying to fix it. It's Chanel@nerdintexas.com. I leave my Willow link to all my socials in my podcast description. If you like my podcast, please send me a tip to my virtual tip jar on my Ko-fi page. It's ko-fi.com/nerdintexas. I have the link in there as well. I also post my notes on my website, which is nerdintexas.com. So if you want to check out my notes, all that fun stuff, you can do that too. You can even comment on my notes. You can comment on the blog and be like, no, that's not right. I don't know. You can tell me whatever you want to tell me. What else? Oh, I kind of went on like a fabric shopping spree, and I bought a whole bunch of like Star Wars fabric and all these other fabrics that I'm going to start making more masks. So I'll be posting that on my website as well. Well, not on my website, on my Ko-fi page. On my Ko-fi page as well. I did a thing on Twitter where I had y'all vote on who my first cosplay should be, and it was from Poison Ivy, Ursula, and a Jedi, and I got 4 votes. Okay, 5 votes. 3 was for Jedi and 2 was for Ursula. At first it was a tie, and I was like, I wonder if I could do like an Ursula Jedi version of like an Ursula Jedi. Yeah, like collaboration, I guess you could say, or a crossover cosplay, I guess you could say. I had a question that a listener said, and I talked about it earlier, but then I kind of, when I was at like in the middle of the show, I ended up having to stop the show because I got some really unexpected news. So I'm kind of flustered and kind of, I forgot what the question was, but I'm sure I'll remember like 2 a.m. I'll like wake up and be like, oh, that's the question I forgot to answer on my podcast. So if I forgot to answer your question, I'm so sorry. Like I said, I got some unexpected news. I'm a little flustered. If I don't answer it on this podcast, I'll answer it next week or on Monday, and we'll go from there. Message me, be like, my question is the one that you forgot, and then I'll be like, oh, that's what it was. All right, well, I hope everybody has a great Saturday. Bailey is in San Marcos for a softball tournament. I didn't get to go because with this Bells Palsy, I'm afraid to drive with one eye, so she's with the coach's family. It's like her second family, Caitlin, and is like her sister. And I'm able to watch the games on the team app that her coach created, so that's cool. And so, yeah. I hope everybody has a great weekend. I hope everybody has a great Saturday and a Sunday. Like I said, podcast out Monday. Peace, love, everything nerdy. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.